Hey there, and welcome back to the Great Canadian Blueprint. I'm Ian, your guide through Canada's economic past. Today, we're diving into one of the boldest projects in our history, the Canadian Pacific Railway, or CPR. Finished in 1885, this transcontinental railway didn't just connect east to west, it sparked economic growth, opened the prairies, and turned rough working camps into thriving towns. Building this railway, especially through the brutal Rocky Mountains, came with a massive price tag, and the financing was certainly a challenge. As a REMAX real estate agent from Hamilton, Ontario, I'm unpacking the economic history of Canada and what built our great nation into what it is today. So let's jump in and explore how the CPR built Canada. Building the CPR was no joke. 4,600 kilometers from Montreal to Vancouver, costing $52 million or about $1.3 billion today. The prairies were a breeze. Flat land, straight tracks, about $20,000 per mile. But the Rocky Mountains, that's where the wallet took a bit of a beating. Sections like Kicking Horse Pass and Rogers Pass cost $50,000 to $100,000 per mile, 5 times the prairie rate. Kicking Horse Pass, with its crazy 4.5% grade, needed switchbacks and extra locomotives, running up $1 million for just 20 miles in 1884. Blasting over 30 tunnels in British Columbia, each costing $100,000 to $500,000, and building bridges like the 90-meter high Stony Creek Bridge ate up cash like a madman. The Rockies soaked up 30% of the budget for just 10% of the route. It was an engineering marvel, but every tunnel and trestle was a money pit. The CPR relied on 15,000 to 20,000 workers, including 5,000 to 7,000 Chinese laborers, living in rough camps. Workers earned $1 to $1.50 a day, but Chinese laborers unfairly got only half of that, facing deadly conditions. Between 600 and 2,200 people died from accidents or disease. These camps weren't built to last, but some turned into real towns. Field, BC, set up in 1884 as a train maintenance hub, grew to 200 residents by 1900, thanks to railway jobs and Yoho National Park tourism. Revelstoke, BC, went from a camp to a town of 3,000 by 1901. Banff, Alberta started when workers found hot springs in 1883. The CPR built the Banff Springs Hotel in 1888 for $250,000, and by 1900, Banff had 1,000 residents, with tourism driving real estate. These towns became economic engines, with land values soaring 10 to 20 times. Now, funding the CPR was a high-stakes gamble. In 1881, the government gave the CPR syndicate, led by George Stephen and Donald Smith, $25 million in cash and 25 million acres of land grants, worth about $1 to $2 per acre. They sold 10 million acres by 1900, pulling in $20 to $50 million. The syndicate raised another $100 million through $30 million in stocks and $45 million in bonds, with the government backing interest. The cost blew past estimates, hitting $52 million in 1885. The 1873 Pacific scandal, a $350,000 allegedly bribed to John A. Macdonald's government, tanked his administration. By 1884, the CPR was nearly bankrupt, saved only by a $22.5 million government loan. Interest payments ate 40% of revenue by 1886, but they managed to pull it off. Fast forward to 2025, and the CPR, now the Canadian Pacific Kansas City, CPKC, is a powerhouse. After merging with Kansas City Southern in 2023, it's North America's first single-line railway linked Canada, the US, and Mexico. In 2024, CPKC reported $12.5 billion in annual revenue, employing over 20,000 people and boosting Canada's GDP. They moved a record 30 million metric tons of grain, a lifeline for farmers, and hauled billions in goods like potash and consumer products. Rail hubs in Calgary and Vancouver drive demand for industrial real estate. Warehouses near CPKC's terminals are hot, with values rising due to logistical needs. Plus, CPKC is investing in greener locomotives, cutting emissions to align with sustainability goals. The CPR's legacy lives on, connecting Canada and fueling growth just like it did back in 1885. Overall, the CPR's construction was a giant beast. Costly, risky, but transformative. It connected Canada, sparked trade, and built towns, shaping real estate and the economy. Its financing, government cash, land grants, private investment, set a model for projects like today's $23 billion Trans Mountain Pipeline, CPKC's $12.5 billion in revenue and 30 million tons of grain in 2024 show it's still a vital artery. So here's my question. If you were an investor in 1881, would you have bet on the CPR's risky dream and potential bankruptcy, or played it safe and invested elsewhere? Drop your thoughts below. Thanks for watching The Great Canadian Blueprint. Remember to hit like and subscribe for our next dive into Canada's economic story.